Thank you very much for having us up here. It's a real pleasure to be a part of this event and to have you here. And we know we stand between you and beer, and so we're going to make this time as valuable as possible. And assuming we have the time, we are going to want you to also ask some questions to us about this as it goes forward.
Fantastic.
Great. All right. So one of the key things that our research at Forrester has shown, and I hope that this resonates with all of you, is that when you think about digital transformation, do not simply think about, oh, well, we'll just start adding digital to our business. That's not good enough. You need to be thinking about how are the rest of the competitors in your market making their changes, and how can I make sure we differentiate this and not do it based purely on what the competitors are doing, but focused mostly on what are your customers asking for? What do your customers need? Because that's really what you need to be thinking about. And as a result, what we highly recommend is that instead of simply having a focus on digital transformation, think about building out a business platform. Make it possible for your entire ecosystem, including your customers, to programmatically integrate and take advantage of the platform services and capabilities that you provide, that provide a higher value to all of them, that allow them to see greater capabilities and functionalities that they can get from being engaged with you, which will increase their reliability on you, increase their desire to do more advanced work with you, and be open to sharing with you not only just what they wish you would do, but where they want to go and how you can be the engine to empower their growth. And to that aim, that's a big reason why I'm super happy to have Oliver here, because of the amazing platform efforts that Telstra is taking.
So, I recognize some faces in the audience, but I don't recognize all faces. So maybe a quick introduction, if that's OK. I joined Telstra International about 6 months ago. I've been with Telstra, though, for 7 years, and before that, I was with IBM for 11 years. We had our kickoff event a couple of days ago with the team, and I was asking them, this is actually my first PTC, and I was asking them, hey, how does this year's PTC for Telstra compare to prior years? And what they actually said was, this year, without doubt, we've got more to share with our customers than any prior year, even more so than the year we bought PACnet. Some of the announcements that we've made over the last couple of weeks would include extra capacity that we've brought online between Japan and America with Faster and NCP, the Southern Cross arrangement as well that we're just working through subject to regulatory approval. We've also made some changes to our always-on product where there's an outage or an issue, we can actually reroute traffic within a matter of minutes now as opposed to hours. So a lot we're sharing with our customers day in, day out. But today, super excited to be giving you a little bit of an update on what we're doing around digital transformation. And I've also got a slide on here around a recent report we published with The Economist in Asia. So let me just, if we go back a slide, let's just start off with what we're doing at Telstra. So about 12 months ago, the board decided to invest about $1 billion on our digital transformation. In international, though, specifically, what I thought I'd do today is just share with you 4 areas where we're really doubling down. 4 areas where we're really looking to fundamentally change how our customers interact with us. The first is around Telstra Programmable Networks. So here, when one of our customers needs capacity, they don't have to phone the account exec, they don't have to phone the service executive, they don't have to have that lengthy conversation. They can literally just log on to the app, onto Telstra Programmable Network, and they can just commission it near real time. So near real time, they can commission it, they can stand it up, and within literally a matter of minutes, it's there. And they can stand it up for just a couple of hours if they need it. They can see the price real time as well. It's just all at their fingertips. The second piece is around Telstra Global Media Network. So here for our media customers, when they need to send content around the world, they can just log on to the app and they can choose the level of service, level of performance they want. Again, really empowering the customer. Telstra Connect is what we've done on the service delivery side. So again, as opposed to the customer phoning the service delivery executives, hey, how's that order progressing? Hey, what's the latest on that outage? They can now actually just go on to Telstra Connect. All the information is there from their mobile, from their desktop. We've got over 1,000 of our customers on this platform already, and as you can imagine, I've had a host of meetings already over today and yesterday, And the feedback I'm getting here is really second to none. They're just loving that. And the beautiful thing is it's also connected in with their systems as well. So we're not just kind of building something which doesn't actually talk to their world. The final piece is just around international pricing. So we call it the IPS tool. This is probably the one we spent the most amount of effort trying to get really right. And again, the feedback's been second to none. We've got thousands of our customers on here. All of our wholesale customers are on here. This plugs into their world. I think on average, we're seeing a customer get about 2,000 quotes per month here. So you can really seeing that adoption, which is very pleasing and shows that we're starting to get things right.
And what's really empowering about this platform is if you look at the digital platform trends that we're seeing, there's obviously the low-level infrastructure platform capabilities. And then on top of this, we see our customers, our wholesalers, our retailers adding their own platform capabilities on top of that. But what you don't want to do is hinder their ability to build out these value propositions. And you want them to be able to use not just your platform, but all the platforms they need in order to empower these capabilities. And this is what's really great about what you've done, because by empowering your entire ecosystem, then those ecosystems and customers can interact with each other on your platform to empower these greater values. Because as we look at even enterprises, like GE being one of the best examples with their Predix platform for IoT sensor analysis across all of the infrastructures that are out there, they are not doing this just on a single cloud platform, because they need to do this in all geographies, they need to do it wherever the connections work, and they have to empower people who compete with GE to use it. And they don't necessarily use the same platform capabilities. And so this is what is so amazing about the platform that they're building out, and how you should be thinking about your own platform strategies. How can I empower my entire ecosystem, and most importantly, empower my customers to drive their digital transformation, and to see how we are the mechanism to do that? And I think this ties very much into the survey that you wanted to refer to.
Yeah, so I'll just touch on the survey quickly. So it's called the Asian Digital Transformation Index. So we're in over 20 countries around the world. And for us, it was really important to get a sense of how ready are countries at a macro level for digital transformation. So what we did here is we looked at three key criteria: digital infrastructure, human capital, and industry connectivity. So digital infrastructure is all around things like how ready are they for 5G? What percentage of the population is currently connected by 4G? Those kind of things. How much fiber have they got in the ground? Human capital is all about the universities, the education system. So how many individuals with digital expertise are coming out of the universities? And industry connectivity was all around, so industry, how ready were they really to embrace digital transformation? The three key takeaways, and you can see the sort of the scores on the right-hand side and where all the relative countries sit. You can also see how we've compared the Asian countries to three Western economies. But the three key takeaways here are that the Asian countries are really catching up those Western economies. So they're really catching up at a rate of knots. Singapore is the absolute standout leader, followed closely behind by the United States and Australia. But some of those other Asian countries are really catching very quickly. The second piece is that when we look at the infrastructure level, the digital infrastructure, the Asian guys are really starting to sort of charge full steam ahead. So the investment we are seeing there, especially with the sort of with 5G era just around the corner, is really quite formidable. And the view is that if we were to do this survey again in another 12, 24 months' time, that actually those Asian countries will have overtaken all of the Western economies. And the final observation, key takeaway, was really around those skills. So the digital expertise. Across all of the countries that we surveyed, they are really in short supply. There's not enough coming through the university systems with deep analytical skills, with AI skill sets. And I think as an industry, it's something that we need to take on to speak to government, to speak to sort of other bodies as well, the educational institutions, to look at how we can really drive that moving forward. So I just thought I'd share that with you. Very happy to give you the full report as well. Happy to share that if you were interested.
And another key aspect that's important to know about this survey, this is looking at the growth of the talent in the ecosystem to empower this. This is not talking to the average citizen, and it's not specifically talking to millennials in each of these countries. And if you do that analysis, and feel free to use Forrester's customer experience research to look at this, the customers are going digital way faster than most of these companies. And so you do need to prioritize it. So instead of looking at survey results like this and say, well, in my country, only 30% are going there, be prepared for 90% of your citizens to want to go there.
That's absolutely right.
Good. So other things to think about when you build out your digital platform, here's what we describe as our blueprint for going down this path. First, make sure that you are integrating forward to embed services into your customer's world. Now, notice what I mean when I say embed into your customer's world. I didn't say start with your ecosystem. Start with your customers. So many people, when they build a digital platform strategy, start with their ecosystem because they think those are the only people who are going to want to programmatically tie into our service. But what you have to realize is your customers, and maybe not so much the millennials I talked about, as he mentioned in his survey, they're not coming out of college with these technical skills, but your business customers, they are the ones who are saying, I've got to improve the digital experience for my end customer. Can your platform enable this? And that's why you need to be empowering them, not just your wholesalers and retailers, to bring these solutions forward. And then this next point, maintain a clear-headed commitment to commercialize services via APIs, because you don't want to wait for people to bring platforms and services onto your platform. You want to empower them to build brand new ones. And the most powerful way to do that is to have all of your services and capabilities API enabled. Because as you know, we're seeing a tremendous shift in organization app design away from the historical model of building applications to agile models building containers, and increasingly in serverless and in low code. And if you're familiar with low code technology and how it works, 90% of low code is empowered by API services. And so that's a big reason why this needs to be a huge part of your strategy going forward. And then third, embracing the stepwise approach pioneered by the software industry. How many of you are familiar with the stepwise approach? Anyone heard that term? So the key thing about a stepwise approach is that instead of building an application, bringing it to market, and then waiting 6 months for the customers to articulate they need something new, stepwise means that we must constantly increment and improve the application, constantly hearing from what customers are doing and delivering new capabilities. It's the core concept behind agility. And that's very much what you want to be able to empower. So as you see new capabilities and you see new functionalities, make them available on your platform as quickly as you possibly can so that they can take advantage of them immediately. Because the more they see the value in your platform and empowering them to go forward and create new customer experiences, the more likely they're going to use your platform over a competitor's in the markets in which they play today. Any additional recommendations you want to make?
I think that's a strong, well, one thing I'd probably add is just, I think now we're starting to make some good progress, as I shared earlier, but that wasn't always the case, and I think it's right to be vulnerable sometimes. We started on this journey sort of a few years back, and quite frankly, I think we got it wrong at the beginning. We went with too many applications, so there was duplicate applications, our customers were quite frankly confused. To your point as well, they didn't always connect in with, so that relevancy wasn't there. So I think that whole piece around sort of failing fast, that's okay. You just gotta, don't try and sort of dress it up. We didn't get it right. It was time to shut down some of those things, start again, and that's what we've now done, and we're seeing the positive results.
Yeah, and I also like that not only did you, when you got feedback, you didn't just 100% kill it, but if you saw that you got 40% of it wrong, but the 60% was right, just fix the 40, get the new version out, get it out there, and take it forward. Yeah, absolutely. Any thoughts or questions from you?
Probably the other thing just around digital transformation is the active ownership of the business as well. I think too often it kind of sits off in sort of the IT world, and it doesn't really have that business ownership. The senior leadership team and I, we review the progress that we're making on a weekly basis. So like we'll review sort of the sales results or our service delivery results, we do exactly the same on the progress we're making around digital transformation.
Yep. And another thing that all of you should be thinking about when you're building out your digital platform is identify and recognize that the competitive impacts that you will see oftentimes will come in areas that Oliver mentioned around your pricing model, around your security architecture, and around things that not direct competitors are providing, but that ecosystem and wholesale customers and partners could be bringing to you. I'll give you a simple example. How many of you are totally on board with offering all of your services just like Amazon Web Services does, where each service is consumable on a per-hour basis and no contract longer than an hour is required? No hands went up. That's indicative of the issue. So you better be prepared for that, because if you don't offer those services and capabilities, but Amazon or Azure or Google do, and they are using your services beneath, be prepared for more of that revenue to go to them and not to you. Way below the hour? Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So if you're not comfortable with an hour, be totally uncomfortable with way less than an hour. Absolutely.
Any other questions? Might be beer o'clock.
It's coming up on beer o'clock, that's for sure. Well, good. Well, we would love to hear from you about your digital transformation, how you are moving it forward, and what's empowering you to do that. And more importantly, make sure that you communicate out to your customers the case studies in which your customers have leveraged your platform and is allowing them to drive their own digital transformation. Now, I know that oftentimes when you approach your end customers about being a published case study, they're oftentimes like, oh, wait, I can't do that. My marketing department doesn't want me endorsing vendor. This is changing. How is this changing? Because take a look at how hard it is to get artificial intelligence skilled and programming skilled students that come out of college and want to work for your company. Well, if your company is not recognized easily on the web, on LinkedIn, and other places as investing in these digital technologies, they're not going to think working at your company will let them use those skills. And so it does become much more necessary to do this. And this also says that in addition to marketing the partnership with them, your company and them should also be engaging more in open source projects and should be talking about what you're doing programmatically in the larger communities like GitHub. How many of you have published into GitHub the services and capabilities you have built as part of your platform? Okay, after the beer, get those hands up. Go to your engineering teams and make sure that you start putting that out there, because that really does empower the engineering student community to determine who they should work for going forward.
Just building on that a little, some of the work we've done has been very much around co-creation, so really bringing our customers in. I think to my point earlier around where we didn't get it right, we didn't involve them the first time around. Second time around, we really learned from that and literally brought them in. We sort of sat down together, and that kind of level of partnership, I think, really sets you apart and also sets you up for success.
Absolutely. Yeah, and talk about getting your customers to not think of you just as a vendor, but to think of you as a strategic partner.
Exactly right.
Absolutely. And that's really the key going forward, is how do we make sure that all of our customers think of us differently, see the greater value we provide, and see how we can actually make their business more effective. Yeah. How can we make it possible for them to get beer on time instead of running delayed? Any final questions or thoughts? Well, I hope this has been a good use of your time. We appreciate your feedback and definitely look forward to engaging with us on how we can help your companies go to the next level.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.